Hey everybody, welcome to Easy SEO and More, the podcast for small businesses. Last episode, I talked about your vision. And if you haven't changed your vision in this last year and a half with everything that's going on, you really need to think about that because we're hitting December of 2021, and I just heard on the news today that they're talking about preparing for the Omicron version of COVID, whatever that is. Things have changed so much in this last year and a half, and if your business hasn't changed to accommodate them, if you haven't redesigned your vision to take into account COVID and everything that's been going on, I urge you, do that. Start 2022 right. Start it with a brand new vision for your company. Go to portbell.com/48, the number 48, to watch, listen to, or read episode 48 about how to do your vision. And welcome to episode 49. Today, I want to talk about how you should be owning it. And I mean that literally. You should be owning your website. If your website is on Wix, Squarespace, something like that, one of the free ones, or even one of the inexpensive template-based sites that are on like GoDaddy or something like that, I urge you, get your own website. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. It's going to help you so much in the search engines. Excuse me. And here's why. I'm going to give you two examples. I have one client that contacted me probably about 6 months ago now. They had a 10-page website. It was in Wix, and it was in the search engines. All 10 pages were in the search engines. They're on like page 5. Guess what? When's the last time you went to page 5 when you were searching for something in the search engine? Probably never. I do because I do a lot of research, so I might go to, I don't even know if I go to page 5. Anyway, page 5 is not going to get you new clients. And I did some research on their website, and I found out that there was, and here's one of the big things, is websites can have errors on them, lots of errors. You'll never see it. The website will look great. It's kind of like a car with a new paint job, but the engine is 500 years old, which of course can happen, but you get the idea. You can have a terrible engine in a car that looks great, and you can have a terrible coding on a website that looks fantastic. You never know it when you see it, but the search engines catch that. And sometimes there are things called fatal errors. If there's a fatal error, the search engines may even just stop looking at it. They may even index the entire site, but it won't get high in the search engines. And that's one of the biggest reasons why websites don't get higher in the search engines is these errors. Because the search engines can't read past these errors, or sometimes they just can't read what's in the area that has an error, So having your own website, and I'm talking about WordPress, of course, right now. Having a WordPress website, even if there are errors, they can be corrected. Most of the major themes these days do not have errors, though. And yes, all WordPress websites are theme-based. And I won't say all, but a vast majority. If you have a custom WordPress website, you're probably spending a lot of money. But you have to ask yourself, is that free website really doing you any good? Especially if you have a Wix or a Squarespace site. These people had a 10-page website on Wix, and I have nothing against Wix. It's great if you're just starting out. I mean, you're just opening your doors today or something like that. That's fine. But you need to plan for and budget for a better website as soon as you possibly can. You know it as well as I do. Everything is being done on the internet now. When COVID shut everything down, there were so many businesses that scrambled and went out of business simply because they didn't have that online presence. You need that. And if your online presence is social media, get off that now. And I don't mean get off social media, but don't make that your cornerstone. Your website has to be your cornerstone, and it has to be a stable website. Second example, I just recently had a client contact me. They wanted to have SEO done because they're not getting higher in the search engines. I did some of my techie research stuff, and I found out that Google sees page 1 of this website, and that's it. It doesn't even see the rest of the website. And this is one of these templates. This one isn't even a free template. This person's paying for this template. But the template, there must have been some sort of change because I've worked with this template before. When I worked with it before, it was okay, but now there's been a change to this template, and it's not being shown up in the search engines anymore. Maybe that's a temporary thing, but it certainly doesn't help this business, does it? Let's say you have a 10-page website and only one page is being found in the search engines. Google loves websites that have continuity across multiple pages, and they reward you for that. So if they only see one page, they're only going to show people one page, and that page is never going to get to the top of the search engine. So it's really not worth it. Let's get down to brass tacks, though. Let's talk about actual money. What's it going to cost to have a WordPress website? Well, there are companies that charge $5,000, $8,000, $10,000 for a 10-page WordPress website. And I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. Unless you have something very special going on, you should never be paying that kind of money for a 10-page website. There's just no reason for it anymore. I would say the maximum that you pay to have a website designed should be $2,500. Here at Port Bell, it's portbell.com, we charge under $1,500 for a basic 10-page marketing website. And contact us if you'd like to get more information about that. But the website's only part of it. You want good hosting, and you want your domain name, of course, as well. You may already have your domain name, but if you don't, Cool Web Hosting, it's our hosting, cool with a K, webhosting.com. You get domain names for under $12 a year. Watch out for these companies that give you a free domain name, because chances are, if they're giving it to you for free, they own it, not you. When you move away from them, you can't get that domain name. You just lost out on everything you've done. So don't do a free domain name. Go to Cool Web Hosting, get your own domain name, pay for it. It's $12 a year. Now, the domain name is only part of it, though. You need hosting as well. And Cool Web Hosting, of course, has hosting, too. It's like $90 a year. So you're paying, $102 a year. And don't quote me on these prices. It's actually a little bit less than that. But let's say $110. You're paying $110 a year. That's what? It's still less than $10 a month that you're paying for hosting and the domain name. And with our services, you get an email address with that. So you have your email address with your domain name and your hosting. You don't have a Gmail account. You want to look professional, and part of looking professional is having that email address as part of your domain name, sally@mydomain.com. That's so important. It looks great. It looks much more professional. But here's the big thing. I can compare two websites, and one of them would be on Wix and one of them would be on WordPress. The WordPress website, 99.9% of the time, is much higher in the search engines than the Wix website would be. And it gets higher in the search engines easier. I've gotten Wix websites onto page one. It cost the people a lot of money. It would have cost less money for them to have the site redesigned than it did for me to do all the SEO work on it, but that's what they wanted. So basically, for 2022, we're in December 2021 right now. For 2022, make it your goal. Get your own website, get it on your own hosting, because Facebook could shut down tomorrow. And you may sit there and say, well, Facebook's not going to shut down tomorrow. Why would Zuckerberg ever do that? Hey, Zuckerberg's rich. You really think he needs more money? He can say, nah, I don't want to do this anymore. And if you think that won't happen, for those of you old people like me, remember MySpace or Prodigy or America Online, or let's go a little bit more recent, Google+. Google is a huge company. They could have run Google Plus forever at a loss, and it wouldn't have hurt their company hardly at all. But they still shut it down. And that affected a lot of businesses. In fact, I know a couple businesses that went out of business when Google Plus stopped, simply because they had all of their stuff on Google Plus. Get your own website. Facebook goes down tomorrow, you will still have your website. I had my first website in 1995. That website still runs today, and it costs me about $11 a month now. That's it. It's not that expensive. So once you have that one-time price of having your site designed, then you've just got the hosting and domain costs. So get your website done. Thank you for listening to this episode of Easy SEO and More, or watching it now that we're on YouTube. And I'll see you the next time.